Within a minute,
Please.
I'm starting. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please start your valedictory function.
Yes,
Our
sir.
chief guest has joined.
दिख रहे भी मेरे
मैंने ईमेल किया है, यहाँ के ईमेल आईडी पे प्लीज ओपन करके रख दीजिएगा।
Shall I start, sir?
Yes. Neha, please start.
Yes, sir. A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries, dear colleagues, and my dear students. I, Neha Samundre from Department of Computer Science, feel honored to welcome you all here in the valedictory function of the 10-day certificate course in Basics of Sustainable Development being held by the Green Campus Committee and Environmental Committee of Prerna College of Commerce. First of all, my hearty welcome to Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajesh Biniwali, sir, Senior Principal Scientist and Head, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR NERI, and Director General, Research for Resurgence Foundation. I extend my hearty welcome to Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director, Prerna College of Commerce, Dr. Ujjwal Lanjiwar, Principal, Prerna College of Commerce, all the eminent speakers and dear faculty members. It's an honor for me that I have been given the opportunity to host today's valedictory function of this 10-day certificate course in Basics of Sustainable Development. On behalf of Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, I'm delighted to offer a gracious welcome to each one of you present today. Friends, sustainable development has its roots in ideas about sustainable forest management, which were developed in Europe during 17th and 18th century. Sustainable development can be defined as the practice of maintaining productivity by replacing used resources with resources of equal or greater value without degrading or endangering natural biotic systems. It binds together concern for the carrying capacity of natural systems with the social, political, and economic challenges faced by humanity. Sustainable development is the study of the concepts of sustainable development and environmental sciences. There is an emphasis on the present generation's responsibility to regenerate, maintain, and improve planetary resources for use by future generations. It is an organizing principle for meeting human development goals while also sustaining the ability of natural systems to provide the natural resources and ecosystem services on which the economy and society depends. The desired result is a state of society where living conditions and resources are used to continue to meet human needs without undermining the integrity and stability of the natural system. It can be defined as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. The goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. The course is designed and planned in such a manner that it would help the participants understand and absorb the basics of sustainable development, and at the same time they will work in future the manner that will be in keeping with the same. It is really a great opportunity for all the participants to learn many things in detail. All the participants have attended the sessions and showed their great enthusiasm for learning throughout these days of certificate course. It was not just educative and informative, but also productive and fruitful for all of us. Now, going through the schedule of the certificate course, let me mention the names of the experts who gave their contribution to make this certificate course more interesting and knowledgeable. Dr. Praveen Joshi, the director of Prerna College of Commerce, inaugurated the certificate course with his erudite address on the topic Sustainable Development, Introduction to the course. On day 2, Dr. Ashok Bhatt, ex-professor Guru Nanak Junior College, Nagpur, addressed the students on the topic Environmental Ethics. Dr. Milind Shinkhede, Associate Professor, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, addressed the students on the topic Sustainability Principles. The day 4 was conducted by Dr. Sharad Kosankar, Senior Scientist, CSIR, Dr. Sharda Kosankar, Senior Scientist, CSIR, MIRI, on the topic Equality of Life, Economic Growth and Environment. On day 5, Dr. Sandeep Hate, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, addressed the students on the topic Sustainable Consumptions. On day 6, Dr. Rajkumar Khapekar, Associate Professor and HOD, Department of Botany, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, addressed the students on the topic Conservation of Forest and Sustainable Development. On day 7, Mr. Prateek Kodmalwar, Assistant Professor, Prerna College of Commerce, addressed the students on the topic Sustainable Development Goals. On day 5, Dr. Yogesh Bhute, Assistant Professor and IKC Coordinator, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, enlightened the students on the topic Managing Climate for Sustainable Development. On day 5, Dr. Bharti Deshmukh, Assistant Professor, Prerna College of Commerce, addressed the students on the topic Disaster Management, Readiness of the Cities to Handle Disasters. And today, the first session, which was the 10th session of the certificate course, the session was conducted by Dr. Amol Deshmukh, Principal, Institute of Technology, Nagpur. And Sir has addressed the students on the topic Institutional Contributions towards Sustainable Development. All these sessions were so informative and educative that it will surely help us to enhance our interest towards the environment. Before we're going to invite our guest speaker to address all of us, I would like to invite the director of Prerna College of Commerce, Dr. Praveen Joshi, for his introductory remark. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. The chief guest of the valedictory function, Dr. Rajesh Biniwali, Principal, Dr. Ujjwal Lanjewar, our earlier guest speaker, Dr. Amol Deshmukh, the Principal of NIT, the coordinator of this 10-day certificate course in the basics of sustainable development, students and faculty. It's a great opportunity for the students of Prerna College of Commerce to learn the basics of sustainable development. They are the pillars of India, and the future depends all on them. Generations after generations, we see that every new generation has to bear more and more responsibilities towards this planet, the survival and existence of human race. I always keep on saying that during last 10,000 years, we have not damaged our planet as much as we have done in last 50 to 60 years. During last 50 to 60 years, we have become more careless, more reckless about using our natural resources. And because of our reckless exploitation, over-exploitation of natural resources, our future generation is facing a great threat about its own existence. It is like the story of Sheikh Chilli, that we live on this planet and we are damaging this planet. We are causing harms to this planet. And it's all reckless, without thinking. Maybe government policies are responsible for that. Maybe the corruption at all levels is responsible for that. Maybe the ignorance is also responsible, illiteracy is responsible, environmental illiteracy is also responsible. So lack of awareness at all levels is really threatening our existence on this planet. We don't know what will be the situation after 50 years, to what extent our planet will be damaged. So this is the right time, as Dr. Amol Deshmukh in his earlier address has said, that every institution must contribute towards bringing about the awareness about environmental issues among the masses, among the students. We should do that so that our future generations can live peacefully. We are not against the progress. We must make progress. But while making progress, we have to remember that we do not cause any harm, any irreparable harm to our planet. Progress and sustainable development must go hand in hand. Without that, our future cannot be bright. Today we have a very renowned scientist with us, Dr. Rajesh Biniwali. He holds a very high post in NIDI. He had been to Japan also earlier, and now he is associated with so many scientific and environmental organizations, and he is making a very pioneering work in this field. So we are lucky to have him here. I am thankful to him that in one single phone call, he has accepted our invitation, whereas he holds such a high post that it is not easily possible to approach him and to get him for such conference. It is an international personality, and we are lucky to have him here today. So I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Rajesh Biniwali with the thanks that he has accepted our invitation. Dr. Rajesh, I heartily extend a warm welcome to you, though in only virtual mode. We express our gratitude to you. Thank you, and over to Neha.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now, friends, some of our students wish to give their feedback about this course. So, I call upon Mr. Siddesh Khanorkar from BCA first year to express his view. Siddesh, kindly unmute yourself, beta.
Yeah, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, beta, you are.
Okay. Good afternoon, one and all present over here. Myself, Siddesh Khanorkar from BCA first year. Good afternoon, Director Sir, Praveen Sir. And I am here today in front of you all to give my feedback upon particularly the certificate, Sustainable Development Certificate course. So first of all, on the first day, as Dr. Praveen sir addressed us that key what actually sustainable development is. So it is the development that meets the need of present without compromising the ability of future generations. Like the needs we are like the things which is needed today. We are using the things without compromising them for the future generations. Like वो future generations के लिए भी बचा रहना चाहिए जो हमारे ancestors ने समझा था. Like our ancestors were knowing that these things are precious and this could be really helpful for the future generations, and they kept it for us. But we have been using it enormously, like without any limitations we are using it. So this course particularly I liked very much. Our college holded it, and I'm really grateful to our college, mainly the director sir for holding it. And sustainable development में main things जो sir ने बताया कि first day on the कि उसके लिए self development is the most important. Like जब तक self development नहीं होगा, विदाउट सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट जब तक नहीं होगा हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट नहीं कर सकते. तो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट फर्स्टली सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट है, उसके बाद ही सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट होगा, ये सर ने हमें बताया. सो वो थिंग मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी, एंड उसको मैंने लाइक फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट डे ओनली अप्लाई किया अपने अंदर की. लाइक मैं फिर सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट करने लगा, एंड उसके बाद फिर मैंने मेरे घर वालों को भी लाइक उसके लिए एनकरेज किया कि हाउ हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं. एंड सेकेंडली कि लाइक एजुकेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट. लाइक जिनको एजुकेशन है वही लोग जब अनएजुकेटेड लोगों को एजुकेशन देंगे, लाइक सर ने जैसे हमें पास किया अपना एजुकेशन ऑन व्हाट सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट इज एंड व्हाट कैन वी डू. अब लाइक नाउ दे रिलाई ऑन अस कि हम उसे आगे पास करेंगे एंड हम एक प्रॉपर यूनिटी बनाएंगे. सो आई लाइक पर्टिकुलरली दैट कि उन्होंने हमें एजुकेट किया, अब वो हम पे रिलाई करते हैं कि हम आगे एजुकेट करें लोगों को कि व्हाट सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट इज एंड व्हाई इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट एंड हाउ इट विल हेल्प आवर फ्यूचर जनरेशंस पर्टिकुलरली, हाउ इट विल हेल्प आवर पर्टिकुलर जनरेशंस कि वो भी आगे बढ़े एंड वो भी सब लाइक एज मोदी जी सेज कि सबका साथ सबका विकास. तो हम सबको लाइक एकजुट होके एक साथ सबके एजुकेशन बांटना पड़ेगा अपना सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट का, एंड उसी के बाद होगा. ऐसा था, एंड आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू यू डॉक्टर प्रवीण सर कि आपने हमारे लिए ये कोर्स ऑर्गेनाइज किया, एंड टू ऑल द कॉलेज ऑल्सो कि आप लोगों ने हमें ग्रेटफुल समझा इस कोर्स के लिए. सो थैंक यू सर.
Thank you so much, Beta. Now, our second student who will give the feedback about the certificate course is Miss Saloni Hasoria from BSc IT first year. Saloni, Beta.
Yes, ma'am.
Kindly unmute yourself, Beta.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir and dignitaries. Sir, this certificate course was very useful and informative. For use, we got to know so many new things about your environment and surrounding. We got to the importance of environment and its sustainability. I will try to save your environment and make your living sustainability with tremendous gift by the resources person. Thank you.
Thank you, Beta. Our next student is Miss Gauri Nirban from MCOM first year. Gauri.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Yes,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon, Beta.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir, and all dignitaries. We are depend on the nature, that is land, air, tree, water, food. So we have to make the people aware of the resources through sustainable development. Sustainable development consider the future and present needs while making the decision about the resources and energy use, technologies, development and direction of investment. Secondly, we have learned the environmental ethics that help us to understand what is right and what is wrong for our environment. Sir has told us don't use plastic carry bags. It is harmful for animals and human being also. Thirdly, we have learned the sustainability principle. In that, we have told that biocomposition is very important, teamwork, universal concept, innovation to create better work, decomposition, or solar power plant. It is also important. Sustainability is the balance between the environment and the economic and ethic. The development of environment, society, economic health, it helps us to increase the quality of living and standard of living. We have we have enjoyed the certificate course. It was very informative to us, the 10 days certificate course. Thank you, sir, for arranging the wonderful session. We have learned so many things about the environment, how we can tell the people to make aware of the environment and sustainability. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Beta. And lastly, I would like to call Mr. Prateek Kuntawar from MCOM first year. Prateek. Prateek, beta, are you there?
Okay, move ahead, move ahead.
Let us move ahead. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, all the students, for their kind words. Now, friends, today we have with us Dr. Amol Deshmukh, the principal of NIT College, as a guest of honor of this valedictory function. So I request Dr. Amol Deshmukh, sir, to say a few words. Amol Deshmukh, sir, please kindly unmute yourself. Yeah. Amol, sir.
ठीक है, नहीं होंगे, आगे बढ़ो.
No, sir is here with us.
Is he here?
Yes, sir, he is here.
Okay, हाँ.
No, sir, please.
Okay, there is a message from Amol Deshmukh, sir, that he is engaged in some other meeting. So let us continue with the schedule of the session. Now, the most awaited moment of the day is here. That is to have our chief guest to address all of us. Before that, I would like to introduce him with all of you. Dr. Rajesh Biniwali, sir, has completed his master's in chemical engineering from University of Roorkee. After that, he has done his PhD from Hokkaido University, Japan. Further, he has done his doctorate of science from the same university and completed his postdoctoral degree from Hokkaido and Tokyo University, Japan. Having more than 25 years of broad experience in research, he led more than 100 research and scientific consultancy projects and internationally. Also worked in several bilateral and multi-country projects. He has conducted more than 80 national and international training programs. Sir has published more than 60 research papers at Science Citation Index Journal. Sir has also granted 3 Indian patents as well as US and European patents. He has developed several technologies and taken them from lab to land for the implementation. Many research scholars completed their PhD under his able guidance at RTM in Nagpur University and Mumbai University. He is a member of Board of Research and Study at RTM Nagpur University and Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University. Sir is a member of National Technical Advisory Committee, Swachh Bharat Mission, Gramin. He is also a member of Circular Economy in Municipal Solid and Liquid Waste, Niti Aayog. He is a life member of Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers and Catalyst of Society of India. Sir is a former member of Hydrogen Roadmap Committee, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Former member of State Expert Appraisal Committee, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. He is also a former member of Technical Advisory Committee, United Nations Developed Programs. It's an honor to say that Sir is a governor's nominee on Board of Research, Gondwana University. One more further to add to his cap that Sir is a former member DST Task Force to establish India-UK Newton Bhabha Research Fund and presently working as a senior principal scientist and head CSIR Navy and as a professor Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research. Also, he is engaged with he is working as also a founder director Ecologic Science Technique Private Limited and also a Director General of Research for Resurgence Foundation. It's really an honor to have such a remarkable and distinguished personality with us today. I would like to thank you, sir, for taking the time off your tight schedule and marking this day wonderful for all of us with your august presence. Now, let me have the privilege on behalf of Prerna College of Commerce. I request Dr. Rajesh Biniwali, sir, to enlighten all of us. Sir, please.
धन्यवाद नेहा जी.
Thank you so much, sir.
This is also an opportunity for me to interact with different people, different areas. So whenever I say yes, it is generally मेरा भी ये सोचना रहता है मुझे कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा, कुछ सुनने को मिलेगा और उसीलिए मैं बहुत सारे जगहों को हाँ बोलने का कोशिश करता हूँ. और आपके कॉलेज में तो ऐसा है कि आपके जो डायरेक्टर है डॉक्टर प्रवीण जोशी, इन्होंने जो फोन कॉल किया वो मेरे लिए आज्ञा के बराबर है. इसलिए वो कोई रिक्वेस्ट नहीं थी, वो आज्ञा थी और आज्ञा का उल्लंघन करना अभी तक हम लोगों ने सीखा नहीं. तो इसलिए हाँ बोलने के अलावा कोई दूसरा अल्टरनेटिव था नहीं. एक आध कार्यक्रम आगे पीछे किया जा सकता था, लेकिन टाइम भी आगे पीछे किया जा सकता था, लेकिन आना तो था ही. सो ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर प्रवीण जोशी जी, डॉक्टर लांजेवार, डॉक्टर अमोल देशमुख जी, आप नेहा जी और साक्षी जी जो मेरे साथ करस्पॉन्डेंस में थी ये सब लिंक विंग भेजने के, और आपके जो भी पदाधिकारी इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं, तथा सबसे ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण जो हमारे छात्रगण इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं, इस सेमिनार में जुड़े या बेसिक वैलिडिक्टरी सेशन जो है आपका बेसिक ऑफ सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट का आपका कोर्स जो था, और कोर्स का जो नेहा जी ने ब्यौरा दिया उसके अनुसार तो आपने काफी सारा चीज कवर कर लिया है. जो आप लोगों ने राइट फ्रॉम बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स टू आपका, जैसे आज डॉक्टर देशमुख ने जो आपको इंस्टीट्यूशनल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज और इंस्टीट्यूशनल रोल इसके बारे में जो बताया, तो ये 5 दिन तक 6 दिन तक आप लोगों ने जो कवर किया है उसमें काफी सारा कवर कर चुके हैं. इसमें नया बताने लायक मेरे पास ऐसा कुछ खास है नहीं, लेकिन मैं जो करने जा रहा हूँ आज, मैंने ये जब मैं सुन रहा था तो मैं ये सोच रहा था कि ऐसा क्या किया जा सकता है कि जिसके कारण हम लोग इसमें केवल थिंकर ना रहे, एक्टर बने. थिंकर और एक्टर में थोड़ा सा फर्क होता है. थिंकर जरूरी है, You need to think on, you need to deliberate on, you need to plan for certain activities where you want to achieve certain goals. But however, the direct action is something which is important to me as always. I always believe in the direct actions where we can probably go for doing this sustainable development. Now, whenever I hear this word sustainable development, I have been hearing this word right from my childhood in 1994. This is where the Professor Khanna, who was director to NERI, who has brought in this word and which was like sustainable development, and for which different studies to be conducted, different aspects to be considered for industries, installations, industries operations, industries expansion. That was the era when it was started. Now, it was like we were used to do environmental impact analysis for a proposed activity, try to find out what are the baseline emission data or baseline environment data basically, what kind of air quality that area is having, what kind of water quality that area is having. All those we used to calculate, including noise levels. Now, based on that, if the activity comes in, then what would be the impact on those areas over there? Okay. So this was an environmental impact assessment which we were carrying out using a lot of mathematical models, using a lot of previous data, using a lot of data on the technologies to be used by these industries, and therefore what would be the impact which can be calculated. So that was the area where environmental impact assessment was the tool which was thoroughly used. We moved further. We moved means the world moved further, and we were also the part of the entire process of moving further, of understanding environment in better fashion, trying to put up the numbers in a correct way. We moved from not only from the environmental assessment of a particular activity, which is still continued in many areas, but at the same time started talking about a regional environmental impact assessment. If that region is supposed to develop as a cluster of the industries, if it has to be developed under certain policies of the economic policies to be developed, then what would be the impact of it, including something like infrastructure development such as roads, metros, railways. Those are also pipeline, gas pipelines. These are also kind of the infrastructural projects which will have their environmental footprint. Now that's kind of the regional thing which we started talking about. And while talking about the regional thing, we entered into another area which is called carrying capacity of the region. So Dehradun area was the first where we have done the carrying capacity of the area. Dehradun, if you understand, it is like a saucer kind of geography. It's all surrounded by the hills, and the atmosphere is the atmospheric temperature is a bit colder, and therefore quite a stable atmosphere. So it's almost like a saucer-like situation, which is equivalent to the California and USA. So if the if something is emitted within that saucer, it's very difficult to disperse and send it out somewhere else, because it will stay there because of the meteorology of that particular area, because of the wind direction, wind speed, the kind of temperatures, the stability. More stable the atmosphere, more difficult to disperse. So this is what is the situation over there. So we started thinking of what would be the assimilative capacity of this area to further take off any kind of pollution. How do we do that? We do that in the terms of something like standards, say ambient air quality standard. Suppose in air, if you have to have something, some pollutants are supposed to be there, then what kind of concentrations are tolerable? What kind of concentration which can be thought as something which is not that detrimental to the human health? Okay. The definition of the pollution is concentration of something which is unwanted and exposure, both together. If it is calculated, then you have some health impact. So to understand that, if it does not crosses a particular threshold for the health impact, we find out certain standards. And those standards, if by virtue of putting, say for example, currently there is a baseline and you have certain kind of concentration. Let's take an example of particulate matter. If the particulate matter in the air has to be less than 80 microgram per meter cube of the air, which is particulate matter 2.5, PM 2.5. Now, suppose it is below 80 as of now, and suppose you are building up some activity, and because of that activity is going to cross that threshold, then you are not in a sustainable development area. You have to do something for minimizing these emissions, either from the earlier existing sources or choose a technology wherein the new activity will not emit as much as which will make it the crossing that barrier of a standard of air quality standard. So that is what is how we look at it. So this is what is assimilative capacity. What is the assimilative capacity? Today, if it is 60-65, I have a 15 microgram per meter cube of the assimilative capacity still left before we cross the standards. Now, when I bring up the activities over there, is it going to hamper it? After the assimilative capacity calculation, we actually try to carry out the carrying capacity. It's not only when the activity is being installed, it is after that operation is also has to be considered. So assimilative capacity, carrying capacity, these were the new concepts which had come in, and now they are no more new. They are quite old. We were doing it for last 15 years now. So, but nevertheless, this was the modification. This was. Today, world is talking about the circular economy. Today, world is talking about the circular economy, and where we are also talking about the two more aspects, which is called to achieve the circular economy and to achieve the environmental dynamics. We look at life cycle analysis is one of the two. When we do the circular economy does not, like, you are all commerce people and you understand economy means the money. Okay, but that does not necessarily means economy. Economy can also be the ecosystem. And this ecosystem is the world which we, or ecological ecosystems, ecological footprints. This is what we understand in terms of environment. It has a tag cost to it, either to protect, either to deteriorate, whatever. Damage cost also can be calculated. But the new concepts are circular economy. And in the circular economy, one I have already told you, life cycle assessment. I will explain what is life cycle assessment and what we need to do. Second is resource efficiency, RE. So resource efficiencies are very, very important to us. Okay. Life cycle analysis, let me take a few minutes on the life cycle analysis. Life cycle analysis is something wherein you are talking about cradle to grave analysis of any material product. Say, for example, let's take, we have done the life cycle analysis of steel industry. Okay. There are many life cycle analysis are being done, which is ISO 14001 is making you compulsory to undergo such kind of aspects of life cycle and other things. So these are circular economy and concepts which are coming under ISO 14000. When we are talking about, let's take an example of this steel. Steel, when we are talking about, is mining of the iron ore, then bringing that iron ore to certain factories which are going to be the steel mills, beneficiation of this iron ore to extract the iron, then further processing of melting it and again forming into some sheets or some kind of beams and then transporting it, then making some products out of it, and at the end of the day, after the life is used, it is also buried somewhere in the ground as a rusting material somewhere or a scrap sold, and after that to the landfill. Okay. So this is the entire cycle which you need to consider. And the kind of emissions which are emitting at this point are calculated. Based on this, there are certain potentials which are, there are 10 potentials which are calculated. Say, for example, greenhouse gas potential, acid gas potential, acid rain potential, eutrophication potential, ozone depletion potential. Several such potentials are calculated. So 10 such potential actually tells you whether the steel you are produced is environmentally benign or not. Whether ये जो हमने स्टील प्रोड्यूस किया ये एनवायरनमेंट के लिए सुखकारक है या नहीं है, ये हमको बता देगा अगर हम लोग लाइफ साइकिल एनालिसिस करते हैं और लाइफ साइकिल एनालिसिस के 10 पैरामीटर के ऊपर इसको देखते हैं. हम लोगों ने जब देखा तो इट वाज 2.5 टन्स ऑफ CO2. मैं एक ही फैक्टर लेता हूं जो ग्रीन हाउस गैस पोटेंशियल है. 2.5 टन्स ऑफ CO2 emitted per ton of steel produce. क्यों? क्योंकि हम लोग आयरन ओर को ब्लास्ट फर्नेस में बेनिफिसिएशन कर रहे थे. Now, when you have such kind of processes where you are having 2.5 tons of CO2 emitted per ton of steel, this was the time in somewhere late 99 or early 2000 when the Beijing Olympic was supposed to be held. A lot of steel demand was created and Indian steel was not sellable in the market, not because the quality of the steel, but because the amount of CO2 it was producing per ton of steel production. And the standard was you have to have a less than 2 tons of CO2 per ton of steel. And today it is 1.5. Okay. So you have to modify your manufacturing processes. You have to think over it. What kind of material you are going to use, what kind of technologies you are going to use. You may produce the steel, you may produce the alloys of the steel, which were otherwise making the all technical specifications, all quality criteria, but the emission wise, you are not good. And that steel is not sellable. Now there, the commerce people need to understand it's not the quality and the quantity only or the demand supply gap, but it is more than that. There is some parameters which are not so tangible in the beginning, may look like abstract, but they are very, very important parameters. So therefore, you people also need to understand this. And then what we did, we understood the circular economy concept and we said, the most of the emissions are coming because of the blast furnace, which is doing the beneficiation of this iron ore. So instead of the blast furnace, if you use the arc furnace, that means you use the recycled iron, recycled steel, and through the arc furnace, if you produce the new steel out of it, this is what is the circular economy which is going to happen. And then what happens, it comes to 1.5 tons of CO2 per ton of steel, which is very good, which is still not very good. We have to bring it down much. There are some other ways and means are being exercised now. And why I'm putting so much of emphasis on this one parameter? I can take another 10 days course on this to explain only circular economy. Okay, but let's understand one parameter at a time. And this CO2, the carbon dioxide, colloquially called as the carbon emissions, we recently had COP26, which was the 26th conference of the parties. A lot of countries come together, and which was held in the December last year in the Glasgow. And then what we decided was we will reduce on the carbon emissions. Every country will reduce on the carbon emissions. Why? Because it is contributing to the global warming. Because it is contributing to the climate change. And therefore, now we have to worry about, earlier what happens was, earlier people used to think the earth will get destroyed sometime, maybe another 10,000 years, 50,000 years. Then time period has come down. Yesterday, some calculations by, based on the, which one? I just forgot the name. Some calculations were done and it's saying that Earth temperature will rise, if you don't do anything enough, it will be rise so much that in 200 years, Earth will be not livable, in 200 years. Now it is not 10,000 years, not 1,000 years. If it would have been 10,000 years, 1,000 years, I am not worried. I don't know which are those generations at that point of time. My lifetime is less than 80 years, 70 years. So I don't worry about the 10,000 year anymore. But if it is coming 200 years, it is my very next generations which are going to see it. 2 generations down the line, they are going to see it. And there I am concerned now. Okay. So the concerns have become a raised one. So the global warming, which is now we have understood, I'll just give you some glimpses of it. What is the numbers which we are talking about? Earlier, when there was no industrial kind of evolution, industrial growth period, the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere was around 200 ppm, 180 to 200 ppm. It varied. And when it was 180, actually you had some 6 meters of ice on the earth. It was ice age. Okay. Just pre-industrial area, it was about 250. Now it started moving so fast that about 10 years back, it was about 315. and today it is 425. Okay? More the CO2 in the atmosphere, more the rise in the temperature, and the speed of the temperature rising is also high. And therefore, this period is getting shorter and shorter. We have left with only possibly the assimilative capacity wise, if I am talking about 1.5 degree rise, which we can afford now as compared to the average temperature as on today. Understand, we have raised only 6 to 7 degrees from the ice age. Okay, when we were less than today's average temperature, when 7 degrees lesser than this, entire earth was having the ice age, 6 to 7 meter of a ice column on entire earth, which entirely removed now, and just another 1.5 degree is left, and therefore the CO2 becomes. Where from it comes? It comes whenever you switch on any light, because you are using kind of thermal energy, which is based on the thermal power plants which are burning fossil fuels like coal, and therefore whenever you use electricity, you are actually emitting CO2. Not at your house, but somewhere else. But your footprint for the CO2 is your footprint of this. 10 years back, I put solar panels on my house. For last 8 years, I am net zero consumption on electricity. I don't use fossil fuel energy anymore for last 8 years. This is something which you can propagate in the society, which we can do in society, which we can start doing. So just compare the one parameter CO2, and so much of things are there. Okay? So this is what is important in terms of environment point of view, circular economy point of view. Second is resource efficiency. We have limited resources, and if you use those resources, we are going to consume those resources soon. It is called, always used to be talked about petroleum product. But I assure you, no more worry about the petroleum product, because you are going to stop using the crude oil soon. It is another 10 years and you will not find diesel and petrol cars or diesel and petrol vehicles on the road. They will be gone. Another 10-15 years, they will be gone. So you are no more concerned about the if the petrol or the diesel or the crude oil is getting finished. It's okay with us. Even other products like petrochemical products like plastic, which is also polymers, which are also going to be stopped. So you don't worry about any more about those things. Okay. Similarly, similar things will happen for the coal. So don't worry about the fossil fuels stocks and resource efficiency. What we are talking about the resource efficiency is other terms, like I explained into the terms of carrying capacity or assimilative capacity. Those are the resources. What kind of fresh air you have, what kind of fresh water you have, what is the virgin land you have, what is the uncontaminated soil you have. That these are the major resources, and these resource efficiencies has to be considered. So this is where the resource efficiency is. Now, why I am talking to the people, we are connected with the commerce, not connected with the environment, not connected with the any scientific activity or science or engineering part of it. Why should I be talking about it? So let's understand. If you understand this, then what your people has to work on your area is how do the economic policies, or we call them as a market instruments. These are called the market instruments into international scenario. How does they drive towards more sustainable development? I'll give an example. I give an example where, say for example, we started, I gave a quite detailed on the steel manufacturing. If the taxes on the iron ore are much more higher than the scrap, or the policy for the economics is for the scrap, market will automatically choose, people who are going to be industrialists, they will automatically choose scrap material over the iron ore, virgin iron ore. If the taxation on the virgin material becomes higher, automatically your drive will be towards the more environmentally beneficial. It need not to be based on what is the iron ore available, or what the driving factor or driving force might be the environment, but the instrument of the market would be taxation, which will actually drive or which will actually sustain or support the environmental cause. So those kind of things are actually there. Now for your things to come to, because you have traveled from like basic principles to institutional um, responsibilities, I will also say we should also look at the personal responsibilities which we have. Okay, unless each person is like one example, just to detour a bit. In a mathematics, there are certain definitions, okay. And one definition is of the point, and the point definition is point do not have any dimensions. Now, if the point do not have any dimensions, suppose something is 0, you add 0 plus 0, answer should be 0. But point do not have the dimensions, but several points in a continuous manner makes a line. How comes? Several pixels in an area makes an area, makes a picture. Okay. Therefore, dimension is already existing. You might be defining it, there is no dimension. So we are those points which has got a big dimensions, which we are responsible for making this larger picture. So few things you should do. I'm just giving you some tasks to do at your home, because two students who spoke before, they expressed that they wanted to become more environmentally sustainable, and they also, like Siddharth spoke, that he wanted his family to be also understanding this. I take this spirit as a very good spirit, and I just give you some small things to do at your home. Calculate the wattage of the instruments which you are using, but and also make a table that we have tube lights of this many watts. Then we use this for 5 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. So you make this table, wattage multiplied by number of hours you are using, that is the unit you are consuming. Calculate that first, so that you will understand where you are spending more energy. Compare it with your electricity bill. Try to convert, suppose if you have 40 watts tube light, convert it to 15 watt LED. Don't go for CFL. CFL is a dangerous thing. Okay. Don't go for CFL, go for the LED lights. Okay. 40 watts to 15 watts. So you plan yourself, next 1 year, we will reduce the wattage. You still use the same amount of light, same amount of lux, everything, but your energy footprint will go down. If possible, with this down energy footprint, now you need a smaller solar panel to install. Try to make that solar panel, make zero consumption of electricity. Net metering could be used, zero consumption of electricity as far as fossil fuel is concerned. That's one way of doing it. Second is calculate the amount of water, fresh water you use. Compare it with your water bill. Try to do the same things which I said. Try to find out the footprint of what is the biggest footprint you have on this. Minimize it. Then comes your LPG. If in my house now, LPG cylinder, we used to need one cylinder per month. Now we need one cylinder per 2.5 months now, because we changed certain things. We changed many things into solar. Say for example, bathing water, hot bathing water, we changed complete to the solar. Okay. So such amount of reduction. And lastly, but not the least, your petrol or diesel consumption. These are the 4 points where you can really talk about at the individual level or at the family level. You can really do your audit. This is what is called environmental audit. Try to do the environmental audit of your own. Try to do the environmental, Pravinji, the environmental audit of the institution for the sustainable campuses is also mandatory now. Okay, and we can help you out on that. So we can do the environmental audit as well. So environmental audits of the universities or the educational institutes are also being asked for this sustainable development. But on your level itself, family level itself, please try to do. Make this as a big project. I offer for the Prerana College that Research for Researchers Foundation, Research and Foundation, RFRF, can join hand with you or do a collaborative project with all the students of your college and their families and their houses, doing the environmental audit of their houses. We will train them how to do it. We will give the formats, make a project, big project. We make a big impact of it. We say that within 1 year, we will do this kind of reductions as a plan. Then we can submit it to the government. I will take it to the government. I'll take it to the government that this one institution is doing such thing. Lead by example. If you do it, we can ask other people to do it. Okay. So if you are ready, let's join this. We can bring it. RFRF has got a collaboration with 150 universities and reach to 400 universities. Okay. So I communicate with almost 400 vice chancellors every month. So we can propagate this in a large way. So as a pilot, let's do it with you. So here I will try to stop because I can keep on speaking on this. But what I wanted to understand is the way scientific institutions looks towards it, and the way at the individual level itself can be brought in, and where there are 4 points where you can definitely look at, and you can change some of the gadgets at your home. You can change certain behavioral aspects. You can change. It depends on what kind of financial things you want to put in. It can be very large way. It can be also controlled. You can be net zero. As in my house, I am net zero on the fossil fuel energy, except I'm still not able to conclude, I'm not still able to reduce further the petrol consumption and the LPG consumption. I'm trying to make on something on the LPG. If I'm successful, I'll bring zero LPG. At the same time, petrol, I'm still not understood how to do it unless I buy an EV, electric vehicle. Okay. So here I will stop. It's an opportunity for me also to think loudly, connect with a lot of people. Like the one project which I offered to you is just the brainchild within this session. So it's important that you get better ideas when you're talking, when you're having, instead of your left and right hemisphere of your brain, medulla oblongata should also be used. And when medulla oblongata starts working, it starts better. So thank you very much, Pravinjit, for calling me. And we will definitely meet physically soon. Thank you.
We will certainly have that collaboration under your guidance, and our college will fully devote itself towards that project, and whatever is required, that we will do. So very soon we will make a team, we will form a team for this particular purpose, and under your guidance they will work. And they will work wholeheartedly. So whatever deadline, whatever period you set for that, we'll follow that. And honest efforts will be directed towards the completion of the project. So we are ready for that. And my institution will always be there to support such projects. So we are really grateful to you that you have offered this project to us, and we will do it collaboratively. Over to Neha.
Thank you so much, sir. What a wonderful session it was. Thank you so much, sir, for such an enriching session. I'm sure that your talk will immensely benefit each one of us. We shall always cherish your valuable guidance that you have so wonderfully given on this occasion. Sir, we will love to learn it from you, and it will be an honor for all of us to get enlightened by you on the topic. And I'll make sure you that, sir, we will all do the environmental audit at our home. So now I, Neha Samudre, take your leave and request Dr. Sapna Gupke to present a formal vote of thanks. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on Basics of Sustainable Development Program. I, Dr. Sapna Gupke from Department of Commerce and Management, stand here to express gratefulness and to conclude the session. First and foremost, I am thankful to Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajesh Biniwali, Senior Principal Scientist and Head CTM Division, NEERI, Nagpur. We are grateful that he has spared his valuable time for us. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the resource persons of a certificate course on understanding sustainable development. I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Praveen Joshi sir, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, for his introductory session on sustainable development. Sir has enlightened the participants that the Sustainable Development Goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the guest speaker of the second session for the program, Dr. Ashok Bhatt, ex-professor of Guru Nanak Junior College, Nagpur, for giving a valuable knowledge on environmental ethics. I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to the guest speaker of the third session for the program, Dr. Milind Shinkhede, Associate Professor, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, for imparting the crucial information on sustainability principles. I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to the guest speaker of the fourth session for the program, Dr. Sharda Kosankar, Senior Scientist, CSIR Niri, for enlightening the participants on quality of life, economic growth, and environment. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the guest speaker of the fifth session for the program, Dr. Sandeep Hate, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, for making the participant understand the importance of sustainable consumption. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the guest speaker of the sixth session for the program, Dr. Rajkumar Khapekar, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Botany, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, for imparting the knowledge on conservation of forest and sustainable development. I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to the guest speaker of the seventh session for the program, Mr. Pratik Kodmalwar, Assistant Professor, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, for making the participants understand the Sustainable Development Goals. I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to the guest speaker of the eighth session for the program, Dr. Yogesh Bhute, Assistant Professor and IQAC Coordinator, DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur, for enlightening the participants about managing climate for sustainable development. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the guest speaker of the ninth session for the program, Dr. Bharti Deshmukh, Assistant Professor, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, for enlightening the participants about the disaster management, readiness of the cities to handle disasters. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the guest speaker of the 10th session for the program, Dr. Amol Deshmukh, Principal, Institute of Technology, Nagpur, for his intellectual talk on institutional contribution towards sustainable development. Now, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor R.C. Gulhani, President of Prerna Seva Mandal, Dr. S.C. Gulhani, the Secretary of Prerna Seva Mandal, and Mrs. Abhilasha Gurde, CEO, Prerna Seva Mandal, for their guidance and support. My special thanks to Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, for his valuable guidance and support. I would also like to thank to Dr. Ujjwal Lanjewar, Principal, Prerna College of Commerce, for his valuable guidance and support. I would like to give my special thanks to the coordinator, Ms. Sakshi Shivere, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, for her interest and continuous support. I also thank all the committee members for their cooperation and coordination for the grand success of the program. I owe my special thanks to the technical department who has worked sincerely for the smooth conduction of the program. And last but not the least, I am thankful to all the participants, faculty members, and students for their cooperation, for making the program a huge success. And I also want to thank to the technical team for their sincere hard work for making the program a huge success. Thank you so much, everyone. And now, with the permission of the chair, I declare that the program is over. Thank you so much,
Dr.
everyone.
Rajesh, I'm really very proud of you. You have delivered a wonderful talk, and it has really opened our eyes in many respects. At personal level, whatever is required, we will really teach our students that they should follow this. And as you have said that we will make the environmental audit, we will do it. As far as our college is concerned, we really do it every year. It is going on in the college. And most of the suggestions that you have given, we have been implementing for last many years. But your personal visit to a college will certainly enlighten us to a greater extent, and we will receive more guidance from you. So I request you that someday you visit this college and kindly let us know what else we can do so that we also contribute something towards our sustainable development. I am really proud of you that in a very lucid manner, diluting yourself to the level of the students, you have explained all these concepts so wonderfully that each and every student and faculty members have really understood it. So thank you very much, Rajesh, and thank you all of you who have really contributed to making this course a grand success. Raju, आपण भेटूया.
Yeah, Pravinji, it will be my pleasure to come.
हा,
My pleasure to come and meet you again after a gap of almost a decade.
आपण भेटूया, निश्चित भेटूया आपण.
Yes, sure.
मी येतो तुला भेटायला येतो मी.
Yes, sure, sure.
ठीक आहे ना. चला, थँक्यू. आणि मला उद्याचा किंवा परवाचा वेळ देता आमच्याकडनं एक टीम येईल आहे मेमेंटो. परवाला ना.
उद्या I am a bit busy on 5th. I'm busy.
बरं ठीक आहे. हो, तू सांगितलं मला. तर ठीक आहे ना, आपण मी पाठवतो परवाला कोणाला तरी. पहिले तुला फोन करतील ते. जमलं तर मी स्वतःच येईल आहे.
मग घरी भेटू आपण परवा.
चल. ओके. बाय. टेक केअर. बाय.
Thank you, sir.